Tiger fans, I'm back. Like I promised last week, thank you so much for all of the nice comments that everyone left. I can't believe how many people commented it. I can't believe how many people gave a shit that I actually started making videos again and were happy that I started making video again. So that meant a lot to me. I get a lot of good ideas for topics that people want me to discuss about the team. And this week, I'm going to start introducing some structure to this, how I want this to go. So, as my channel was originally built on, it was recaps of the week that was. Basically, I did a video after every series, discuss that series at length, preview the series. I don't want to do that so much on this one, but I do want to talk about what had happened since my last video because I do plan on making a weekly upload. So, before we go on, just want to apologize if you guys can hear any noise outside of my house because I live in the country. There's literally horses next door to my fucking house. But in Ohio, it's weird. You can live in the country yet be on a busy-ass road. So I apologize for any noise you can hear in the background. My computer is also slow as shit. So if there's a little bit of delay in between me discussing what went on in these games, it's because my computer's from 2012 and it is essentially a paperweight at this point. So first game, we had an off day Monday. Mariners came in for 3. First game, Matt Boyd pitched against Marco Gonzalez. The Tigers won this game. I believe it was 9-3. I want to say. I just had the score up, but my computer crashed, so I want to say it was 9-3. I didn't watch that much of this game. I only watched a couple innings of it. Eric Haas hit his 8th home run of June, who has been extremely hot this month. He's starting to taper off a little bit. If you look at his last 7 days batting, and hopefully my computer doesn't have a fucking spaz here. He's hitting 273 with not a great OBP, a 273 OBP. And what's his OPS? But his OPS is 1,000. So he's hitting basically for a lot of power, but not getting on base much. And that's about it. How many strikeouts has he got? He's got 11 strikeouts to no walks. So expect him to regress some. So then we move on to the second game of the series, which was, that was the game where so we're going at, basically, let's go, Casey Mize pitches this game, pitches great, he's got a 3-0 lead, and I watched most of this game because I love watching Casey Mize pitch. This year, man, that kid has taken a step forward. When he had that month in May where he had like a sub 2-something ERA. I think it was sub 230s ERA. He was the first Tigers pitcher since Michael Fulmer to do that in 2016, and Michael Fulmer was the first one to do that since Justin Verlander did it back in 2006. And there's just been something different about Casey Mize this year. His fastball command has been much better, has not been walking nearly as many hitters, and he's getting a lot more swings and misses and a lot more strikeouts. He's finally developing that third pitch, and he has looked great this year. So Tigers get him 3 runs. He's going into the 6th inning, and he's been cruising. And 2 runners get on board, and I believe there was 1 out in the inning, and Kyle Seager hits a fucking bomb, man. I'm sitting there watching it, and this is one thing that sucks about having a fantasy baseball team that's hard to deal with, I should say, is the fact that you have guys that you want to do good. I had both Casey Mize and Kyle Seager on my team. So I'm like, fuck yeah, Casey's going. He's pitching well. And then Kyle Seager comes up and crushes a 3-run shot. So we're tied going into the 9th. Isaac Paredes, who I got to say, his numbers might not look that impressive so far since he's been recalled. He's going to get sent back down because Jeimer Candelario is coming off the bereavement list. But I got to say, this time through in the big leagues, his swings are looking so much better because Isaac isn't going to be a guy that's going to ever be a major power guy, but he's a very good bat-to-ball contact hitter who can hit the ball in the gaps, and that's his strong suit. And this time through, he already hit a home run last night against the White Sox. And you go to this game where the Tigers lost, he goes and hits what should have been a walk-off home run, but got robbed. The ball was clearly going on over the wall, but he got robbed. But he's just been stinging the ball since he's been recalled. Like I said, his numbers don't look great. But if you're watching at bat by at bat, he hasn't had many plate appearances where he hasn't at least hit the ball decently hard or put good wood on it. He's looked a lot better. He's going to get set back down. because Jamer's got that spot locked down. You got to keep him at third. He plays a good third. Like I said, he's kind of slumped off a little bit too, but he's been all around one of the Tigers' most consistent and better all around players. So Isak is going to get set back down, but compared to the first couple times when he came up, where he wasn't making great contact and he looked kind of lost, and he's been a guy that's always walked a lot, and he limits his strikeouts because he's a good at bat. He has tremendous bat-to-ball skills, and that's been a thing that's been known about him since he was drafted by the Cubs. You could definitely see it this time through that it looks like he might be finally starting to see, had enough at bats in the big leagues, or at least he's not so overwhelmed by the big leagues like he was the first couple times he had his cups of coffee up here, where it's like, this kid, he's either the bright lights or the jumping pitching, the daily routine of being in the big leagues. I don't know. But this time through, this kid is just squared up balls, and I'm excited. Hopefully he gets a chance to come back up and have some more ABs somehow this year. So the Tigers lose that game in extras. Fucking Jose Cisnero. I am so tired of Jose Cisnero. I cannot wait until Michael Fulmer is back, because you got to keep putting this fuck out there in high leverage situations, and he is fucking terrible. He is terrible. He throws the ball a million miles a fucking hour, but he can't throw strikes to save his fucking life. And every time he comes out, it's like watching when Phil Koch or Jabba Chamberlain would come out. You're like, well, fuck, that's it. We're losing this game, and that's what it's been so far, watching Jose Cisnero. Tigers lose that game. The Thursday game, this, I want to say, was a day game, so I did not watch a single second of this. Tigers won 8-3. Jake Rogers hit a home run this game, so fucking Super Troopers mustache kid finally did something positive. Robbie Grossman, who, man, he's finding his power stroke. Robbie Grossman is starting to pop some bombs. That he has been such a tremendous pickup so far this year. He has been one of the better Tiger players. He's been one of the more consistent Tiger players. What a great at-bat. I can't say enough positive things about Robbie Grossman. But this is going to come, and it might ruffle some feathers, but if come trade deadline time next month, someone wants to give you something decent for Robbie Grossman, I would trade the shit out of him. Because the Tigers, they are, 12 games under 500 now, 11 games under 500. Avila came out and said he's looking to keep his players on his team. But I don't see the point in these guys who are pitching good and playing good. What's the point of keeping these guys when you're not even going to sniff the wild card this year? You're fourth place in the division. Are you just trying to keep guys so you're out of the bottom of the cellar for the entire year so you don't lose 100 games? Me, personally, you're finally starting to see, you're giving these kids at bats, you're seeing the Hinch factor come in. What is the point of keeping someone like Robbie Grossman? And if someone wants to give you something okay for Matt Boyd, go. He's a free agent at the end of the year. If Jonathan Scope keeps hitting well, he's a free agent at the end of the year. I don't see the point in keeping players for pride purposes of not trying to lose 100 games for another consecutive season as anything. You're coming out of the rebuild, but it's still players that could potentially contribute to maybe next year, Hopefully it's not like someone like Travis Demerit, who was a waste of getting, even though they got Joey Wentz out of that deal. But who knows? I just don't see the point in keeping guys when you're losing now and you're going to lose with them. And they're going to leave at the end of the year, and the CBA ends at the end of this year. So who knows how there'll be no compensation picks, I bet, because they're not, I don't believe they're type A free agents. I'm not sure. But I don't see the point in keeping guys like that around. I want them to play good. Man, I want Robbie Grossman to have 30 home runs going into July. And I want someone to overpay for him. Because, you're going to not make the playoffs. You're not going to win the division. You're not going to win even 81 games. I understand you don't want to lose 100 games again. But these guys are walking at the end of the year anyways, so who cares? And keep giving guys more bats. And with AJ Hinch and giving these guys shorter leashes, let him go. I hope he plays really well. And then we go into the Friday night game, which was last night's game. And this was a fun one to watch. It was a 1-1 game. Sox score 1 in the fourth. So it's 2-1. The Tigers make it. Sox score another one in the fifth. So it's 3-1 going into the bottom of the fifth. Tigers make it 3-2. Fuck. How do they get that second run? I literally just watched this last night. I watched the whole fucking game, but I can't remember. Anyways, it doesn't even matter because the real fireworks of this game goes on when you're going to the bottom of the ninth. Tigers are down, and Daz Cameron comes up. Liam Hendricks comes out, and it was fucking pouring last night. Absolutely just torrential downpour. Liam Hendricks comes out, and he gets pissy and chucks the ball because I listen to him on the Chris Rose rotation, so I don't want to say he's like a cocksucker or a douchebag because he was cool when he was on there with Lucas Giolito. He seemed like a genuinely nice guy, and he's just very passionate. He's an Aussie. That's just what he is. It's how he is on the field. Lucas was saying he's got these weird routines. He's got to come out at 52 seconds into his walk-up song, so he throws X amount of it's just weird. Anyways, so the game gets delayed. Daz Cameron comes up and smacks his first major league home run, and it was a bomb, man. He comes up and hits it to right center, out where the triangle comes out. He fucking crushed it. And they tied the game 4-4, and because what the fuck was it? It was I can't math there. It was 2-4 going into the bottom of the ninth. Hits a tying home run. I'm like, fuck yeah! I hope they need to win this game. What a moment for Daz Cameron. They can win this game, but unfortunately, Jose Cisnero comes out and gives up a run on the 10th, and it was a close play because Robbie Grossman almost threw out Danny Mendick at the plate. He lined it up perfect. It was a bang-bang play. Unfortunately, so they didn't get him at the plate. Bottom of the 10th, Tigers come up. Walks the first, who was it? Aaron Bummer. Walks first hitter. And then the Tigers, of course, a strikeout, a flyout that did nothing. And then that was that. Jonathan Scope, though, comes up with 2 runners on, 2 outs, and he hits a piss seed up the middle. Unfortunately, with how shifts are, 10 years ago that would have been a hit, and the game would have been tied. But unfortunately, with the way shifts are, and these guys are always moving every single play, that was that. Had him perfectly shaded up the middle, made a good play, and that was that. And the Tigers lost. So not the best week this week, but what are you gonna do? It was, you just want these guys to keep playing. You want these guys to keep getting at bats. You want to just keep seeing these dudes grow, and that's all it's about right now. It's just watching growth, giving guys at bats. I will say that some of the positives this week, Casey Mize pitched phenomenal. Tarek Skubal is his strikeout rate is way up again. That was such a great. A positive. He pitched well, even though he didn't get rewarded for it, but that's okay. Eric Haas, I'm going to start giving out a weekly award to who I think is the best player of that week. And I want to say it's Eric Haas this week. Hit 3 home runs, 5 RBIs. He had an OPS of 1,000, really bad on base percentage, 273, had 11 strikeouts to no walks, but still has above league average OPS plus. He's showing a lot of power, but he is going to fall down to earth real quick with how much he strikes out and whatnot. But him and Jake Rogers, because Jake Rogers has hit a couple of homers. Him and Jake Rogers, man, the Tigers for a little while there had really anemic offense from the catcher's position for years. The last really good year they had from the catcher's position was Alex Avila when he went to the All-Star game. I want to say it was Arizona. So that had to be 2013, because 13 was Kansas City. 12 was Kansas City. It was 20. It had to be 2011 when they went, because the Tigers had 4 guys. They had Johnny, Alex, Verlander, and I forget their 4th guy that was there. I should know this. Avila, Justin Verlander, Johnny Peralta. Maybe, no, it wasn't Max Scherzer. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways, that was really the last outstanding year. Because after that, Avila, was hurt, and then James McCann never really was an offensive force as the Tigers catcher. It wasn't until he went to the White Sox where he started to blossom. And they brought in Wilson Ramos this past year to be a guy that was supposed to hit with not much glove but had some stick. But he's been hurt all the time so far this year. So Jake Rogers, as much as I don't think he's a part of the Tigers' future, and I'm pretty good on him, if he's going to hit a couple balls off the ballpark and it's going to lead to a win, and Eric Haas is hot, I'm all for it. It's at least making the games watchable, and it's making it fun, because all these games, for the most part, the Tigers are a pretty pesky team. For a team that as many games under 500 they're a pretty pesky team. And with how good their pitching staff has been, you've been in the game almost every single night, because our pitchers are consistently giving us 5 to 6 good innings every single time out. Which is, someone wanted me to talk about the Tigers coaching staff and what I think about them. And I did say a lot about this in my last week's video, but I'll reiterate again. You can see the difference in how this team plays. The hinge factor is truly showing versus Gardenhire teams, with the leash that these players are getting, with how the roster has been shuffling. And Chris Fetter is worth his weight in gold. He has done a superb job with so many young arms. And you look at some like Urena, who's come over and was a guy that's having a lot of issues with walks and consistency. And he's been good. He's been good. I mean, he still walks some guys, but he's been really, really good. He's been a nice pickup. And Julio Teheran, he only had 1 start, but if you look at spring training and his 1 start that he had, who knows what he could have been with his work with Fetter, because he was looking better. His stuff was looking really good, too. I remember his last spring training start. He was looking phenomenal. So he's done a great job. And I think just with this staff as a whole, they have done a great job finally changing the culture of a club that was been losers and getting their asses handed to them the last couple of years, into something now where it's like you see guys having to earn their roster spots, and you see guys starting to grow and blossom and mature in the big leagues, and you can finally see who might potentially be a part of this team in the long run in the future. So, Fetter and Hinch and just the guys in general have just done a phenomenal job with helping this team grow and just change the culture of being losers and just guys getting at bats because they're veterans. And I hated that shit. Leland did that, and Ron Gardenhire was guilty of that. Another thing I wanted to touch on this week was the injury bug stuff. The Tigers have been getting hit by injuries pretty bad. Derek Hill, if you guys haven't seen it, he made a catch this week. An absolute amazing catch. A ball was torched to center field, and he ran out, got it, jumped up at the wall, banged into it, and he hurt his shoulder. So he got put on the 10-day IL. Victor Reyes last week got put on the 10-day IL. And Derek Holland again got put on the 10-day IL. And Michael Fulmer was right before my video last week was put on the 10-day IL. Reyes, I don't care about. He could stay on the IL. I've been extremely happy getting a chance to watch Daz and Derek. My last week video, I even said, expect these guys to finally start getting some ABs, because with Hinch only giving these guys a certain amount of leash, and Hinch making these guys earn their way onto the roster and not just giving them bats because they're vets, you see what happened to Jacoby Jones, Victor Reyes. He did get hurt, but if he wouldn't have performed, I guarantee you he would have. They would have changed it up. And it was awesome this week. So Hill was playing pretty good. He had a couple of knocks since he got recalled, but man, that kid plays a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal center field. I could see how the Torrey Hunter comparisons came about for his defense. Not so much his hitting, but his defense. because he takes such good routes to the ball. He's got a great first step. He's very quick. He's got wheels. I think he's already got a couple of stolen bases since he's been up. And that's another thing if you want to talk about the effect of the new Tigers coaching staff. The way they run, too. The Tigers have not been a stagnant base-to-base team anymore. These kids are running, and they're taking some bases. Like Akil Badu, he's hasn't been caught yet this year. And Derek Hill's already got a couple of steals. So they've done a good job with that, stealing bases and advancing. And especially in a time where analytics have cut stealing bases down to some of the lowest that it's been in the last 60, 70 years, because they don't want guys making outs on the base pass, because they want dudes to hit home runs, especially with all this launch angle bullshit. That's a rant for another time. That's another video I got to make. I'm going to sound like such a fucking boomer, but this launch angle stuff and the shifts, I got to make a rant video on that. That might be next week's video topic, how I'm tired of watching it. So there's your little preview of that. But it's been great watching those guys out there. And especially with Daz, it just sucks that, the Tigers couldn't have pulled it out and won and made his first major league home run. It's like so meaningful. Even though, tying a big league ball game up, especially after that delay off of someone like Liam Hendricks, who's been really good this year, that's and it was an opposite field shot. It was a hell of a hit. But watching those two guys, it's been great because Daz has looked good out there. It's been fun, man. I really like watching Derek Hill and whatnot. And like I said, seeing Daz taking some ABs and getting an opportunity out there in the outfield. So that's really about it. There's really not that much to discuss this week besides the injury bug stuff. I can't wait for Michael Fulmer to come back. Putting him in the bullpen has been a great move so far this year. He was gonna try to be like that 3-inning start shit like they did with him and Norris last year, where they piggyback started one another. But I think letting him come out there and just say, hey, look, kid, you got the 9th inning. Come out here, throw me 15 pitches as hard as you can. It's been a really good thing for him because he's coming out here throwing his hardest velocity that he's thrown since he's come up in the big leagues. He's hitting 99 on the radar gun, and his sliders is sharp. His injury, he went on there. They think it was from fatigue of just coming out there, and because he was pitching quite a bit, just coming out there. It probably throwing as hard as he's throwing and just letting it all hang out. He just needed a little bit of a break. That's why they put him on the 10-day IL. I think it was for forearm tightness or shoulder inflammation, some bullshit basically, just to give him some couple days off. Derek Holland, like I said, is back on the IL. I don't really care. He hasn't been anything special this year. If you go in his Twitch room while he plays video games, he'll sit there and he'll talk to you, and he actually answers all his messages and stuff. He's a really cool guy, but as a professional baseball player, he's a fucking China doll, and he hasn't really provided anything to the bullpen. So they really need Michael Fulmer to come back and solidify that 9th inning to help bump guys down out of these high leverage spots, because you just can't have Jose Cisnero out there trying to close ball games down, and like guys like Gregory Soto, I don't know what happened to him. He was just so good last year, and now he's regressed. And Brian Garcia, you don't know what you're getting out of him, and Derek Holland's hurt. So we really need Michael Fulmer back because he's been pretty much as automatic's gotten. He had that one blown save, which I want to say, I don't remember where it was, but I was watching the game. It wasn't Seattle. But I remember watching the walk-off hit. You guys can tell me in the comments. I forgot who his only blown save was against. But he's been fucking great, man. We need him back. And get Jamer back. See what happens to Isaac Paredes. See if maybe they keep him up and maybe option someone else down. I don't know who they'd option down because they have a lot of infielders. Maybe Harold Castro would go down because he's been kind of marginal. And I think maybe Isaac needs a little bit of a longer look. So today they finish out the series, this weekend. They got 2 more. Chicago. Jose Urena is going up against Dylan Cease. Carlos Rodon pitches tomorrow, and then the Tigers go to Kansas City for 3 games. So next week, I am going to do my rant of rants about how I am sick of the shift in baseball and how I'm sick of this launch angle bullshit in baseball And I'm going to sound like a total fucking boomer talking about back, what is it? How long ago did I watch the Tigers? Since 03, so what is that? 18 years ago I started watching baseball, and as much old baseball as I've watched for all the way to the 50s. So that's what next week's video is going to be about. We'll start with the week that was. We'll give our award to the Tiger of the Week. Hopefully someone does something positive. And then we'll get on the rant about baseball today and how I'm tired of it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Not very much to discuss in this video, even though it's almost 26 minutes long. You guys got anything else you want me to discuss? Any comments, your thoughts about this week? Your guys' Tiger Player of the Week. What did you guys enjoy this week in Tigers baseball? And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys.